Tufted headboards are kind of a luxury item. They tend to be pretty expensive, so I think if you can make this versus buying it, that would be amazing and you will save so much money. And honestly, I think the end result is pretty much exactly the same as if you were to buy one, so why not just make one? It was definitely a lot of hard work, but I think the payoff is huge and completely worth it. I am in a constant state of renovating my apartment. I'm just constantly changing things and I'm never satisfied, and I always just want to like add things and change things and move stuff around. So I really wanted to renovate my bedroom, and I just wanted a nice big central piece to my room that would look really cool, and I thought, what if I made a headboard? I thought this would be a really fun challenge, a really cool piece for my room, and I wanted to be able to say that I made it myself. And it's also purple, which is 100% my color, my aesthetic, as you can see. I would say this project is definitely not easy, but I didn't really have any experience making anything like this before, and I was able to do it. So I think it just took a lot of patience and perseverance and more patience. This project took a really long time, and it kind of took a lot out on me, and like my hands and my fingers really hurt afterwards. But I think the payoff was huge, and I think as long as you're kind of generally familiar with DIY stuff, you could probably do this project. There is actually also a hack for this project if you want to do it, but it seems a little overwhelming to you. Instead of tufting in the traditional way of tufting with like a needle and thread, you can actually use a staple gun and staple the tufts, which is way easier, and then you just hot glue the button on top and it looks pretty much exactly the same, which is amazing, and I kind of wish I knew that before I made this project. But that's a great hack if you ever want to tuft anything very quickly, just use a staple gun. I've been into DIY pretty much my entire life. Ever since I was a kid, I loved crafting and making things, and it's just always been something that I've loved to do. I also spent a lot of my life not really having a lot of money, so whenever I saw something that I really wanted, I was like, can't really afford that, but I can probably make it. I made this project mostly just to see if I could do it. I've seen this project on Pinterest and just kind of floating around like all these different sorts of tufting projects, and I always thought tufting was really cool, and it's such a luxury item that I thought it would be really cool if I could make this come to life and have it actually look good. So this project was a huge challenge for me, and it was a lot of fun. I would recommend that someone make this project if you're up for a challenge. It is really hard, it is a challenge, but I think the payoff is huge. If you're really into DIY and customizing your own stuff, then I would 100% recommend this, especially because it is so much more affordable than buying this huge luxury headboard, and you get the benefit of customizing it, making it whatever color you want, whatever size you want. It's 100% yours, and it's a complete one-of-a-kind item that you can say you yourself created. It's so rewarding to work hours and hours on a project and see it come to life in a way that you yourself created. I made this headboard to fit me and my style, but you can make your own version to fit your space and be perfect for you.
I created this headboard actually for the Today Show. It was on a morning segment. They wanted something cool for a bedroom, and I thought, what would be a really fun way to make a piece of furniture that was beautiful but also functional? The construction of this headboard is really, really simple. It's essentially 2 vertical beams with a whole bunch of horizontal slats. It's a great project if you don't have power tools because you can ask a hardware store to cut the wood for you. I love the idea of making a headboard like this instead of buying it because you can customize it to your space. So often you have a bedroom or another space where you need a very specific size furniture to fit. By making this headboard instead of buying it, you're able to get the exact size that you need. This is also excellent if you don't have room for nightstands, because if you can't fit a lamp next to your bed, the lamp is literally a part of your bed. One of the great things about this project is that the boards that you use are really inexpensive. You start with them natural, they're unstained, untreated, and then you can customize it to make whatever sort of design or look that you want. So I used a really nice rustic dark walnut stain, but you could paint this with high gloss white paint and make a look that's a lot more modern. This headboard was a lot more rustic than other projects we've done at Nifty, but I do think there's a benefit of making a rustic farmhousey vibe when you're doing furniture on your own for the first time. The rustic farmhouse look sort of allows for a little bit of imperfection. It's okay if the stain is a little sloppy or the boards aren't 100% easy. If you say it's supposed to look rustic, you kind of have a little bit more wiggle room for it not being 100% perfect. Rustic headboards are something that I saw all over Pinterest. I'd recently traveled to a friend's house who lived in a very farmy area, so I think I was feeling the farmhouse vibe. But if your style is a lot more modern or colorful or sleek, you could definitely do the same project and just swap in a high gloss white paint or something else to give it a different look. I decided to use sconces because they looked beautiful, but they also diffuse the light really nicely. You could do something similar with a battery-operated light if you didn't want to actually install it or plug it into the wall. I liked doing something that could be plugged in. That way, if you have a light switch, you could just flick it on and off, and it's something that's really simple to do. If you're someone who's always dreamed about making your own furniture, this is a great project to start with. It's easy, it's fast, and the payoff is really beautiful.
This was one of the first facelift projects I ever did, and it is a convertible cube seat. I wouldn't say that this is an entry-level project, mainly because I use a nail gun. Fun fact, in this video, that is the first time I've ever actually used a nail gun. Scary, but I survived. So if you haven't used a nail gun before, don't let that hold you back from doing this project. If this is your first custom building project, it's a really easy place to start because it's a square. So it's kind of hard to mess up. I don't know if there was a specific moment when I became into DIY projects, but my grandma was a big influence on me and always encouraged me to be making things. She had this like big button box at her house that I would always play with and be like, what can I make out of this button? And one day it would be like the eye of a teddy bear, and another day it would be like a Christmas tree topper that I made out of, you know, pipe cleaners. So that button box inspired me in a lot of ways. But my grandma was a big influence on me in terms of getting into DIY projects, and also, I don't know, I've just always been into making things. I never in a million years imagined it could be my job one day. I'm very fortunate and I love my job a lot. When I was a kid, obviously wasn't doing construction projects, but I was always making things with my hands. I would take things apart and put them back together all the time. I love to tinker around with stuff. I don't know if there was one specific instance where I was like, now I love DIY projects. I just kind of have always been making things, and I loved art. This was sort of just like a natural progression of the things I love most. And now I have this really cool job where I get to do it every day. This project was actually part of a bigger makeover that I did for my very, very good friend Merle. And as I was preparing for the makeover, I started watching a lot of tiny house videos. So like the little micro houses that people latch onto the back of their trucks and like live around the country. Those are the types of videos I was watching. This project that I'm showing you is customized, but I hope it can inspire you, no matter what your skill level is, to maybe upcycle something that you already have or do the total custom build. Whatever your skill level is or whatever your effort level is for the day, I hope this inspires you to make something that is useful for you, because no matter how big or how small your space is, you always want extra storage, whether it's just to hide something or to make extra space in a tiny room. You know, storage rarely is something that someone's like, I don't need any more of that. You know, everybody needs storage. You can definitely buy storage ottomans. I did not invent the storage ottoman, obviously, but I really couldn't find one that fit the style of the space, had wheels on it, and was heavy duty. So I could find a lot of like foldable ottomans that are like almost cardboard on the inside and have a little bit of a dorm room feel to them. I knew I didn't want that, and I also wanted something that could be used as both an ottoman, seating, and storage. So it was a 3-in-1 solution, and I couldn't find exactly what I wanted, so I decided to build it. I would totally recommend this project to somebody, of course, because I made it and I put it on the internet. So I really am suggesting it to you. If I can do it, you definitely can, and I hope you do. If you do, definitely send me a picture. I love seeing you guys make versions of the projects that I do in different Space Lift episodes. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're inspired to invest in your space a little bit. So thanks.
I'm not the most organized person when it comes to my closet, and definitely when I use these hacks and my closet is really organized and neat, I feel the most at peace. So the first idea is to color coordinate all your hangers by activities. This makes sure that when you just look at your closet and you have that wide view, you already know where to go to, just pick out some stuff, get ready to go. Also, it's very useful if you live with other people or if you have parents or someone coming over, because they can just go to that section of your closet and they can pick out whatever that is appropriate for you. The next one is a super easy, practical one. You can use a hanging shoe organizer to organize the clothes in your closet. They're really affordable. You hang them and now you just have hanging shelves. I use it all the time to organize my t-shirts, my sweaters, socks. It's a really great way to use the vertical space in your closet. The next one is an unconventional way to use shower curtain hooks. So instead of just using it just for the shower curtain, you can also use it to hang your pants. Sometimes people hang their pants with their hangers and you get that crease in the middle of your pants and you have to like iron that out. Instead, you can just hook your pants onto the hook and then hang it to your closet. And then your pants just hang freely. So the next one is a great one to make sure that you can keep your closet useful and clean and organized. You can turn all your hangers around, and as soon as you use one of the articles of clothing, put the hanger back the other way. So after a couple months, you can see what you have already worn, what you haven't worn. And even though you may like those pieces that are still in the closet, you know you haven't worn it in months. You can just donate it, give it away to someone, or sell it. The next one is a super simple one. You can just use a closet divider. This is great if you already share a closet with someone, because you can make sure you designate space for you as well as keeping space for them. And if you do live with someone and maybe they're helping you with laundry, they already know where your clothes go. Another good idea is to make sure all the items that you use the most are kept at eye level. It's very easy to ignore the top parts of your closet and the bottom parts of your closet. So just keep everything where you know you'll see it. So you can just walk in, see all the things you need to see, take it and go. A great thing to have just to make space for your closet is to make sure you store all your clothes that you don't wear in particular seasons in a vacuum sealed bag. Put it in the bag, it takes out the air, it makes things so much smaller, and you can just put it somewhere else and it saves so much space down the line. A decluttered closet is a decluttered life. I really believe that. So all these different types of hacks make sure that you stay organized and make sure that your life stays organized, and it just keeps your mind clear.